Hello, and welcome to another episode of Quarantine Kitchen. Today, we are going to be preparing a dish that is a fan submission from my friend Jill. We are going to be making the keto egg roll in a bowl. So I'm going to throw everything up on the board for you so you can follow along at home. The first step for us to do will be to prepare our vegetables. We've already taken care of green onions and garlic before in other videos. Our new technique will come to the cabbage and how to shred it. So take a large and very sharp knife, and you're going to want to quarter this cabbage. We're going to quarter. Then we're going to cut out the core. So if you can see that right there, it's the piece that kind of holds it all together. And do that for all of these. And you want to come in at a slight angle here. Everything is quartered and cored. Then it's just chopping horizontally so that we get these these short shreds. And let's just show you how this looks. Once you've got that, just move them together a little bit and voila, shredded cabbage. So I put the cut cabbage in a bowl just so that it was easier to tear apart. And then you should have a good amount. The recipe calls for 14 ounces, but I don't have a scale or any other way of measuring ounces, so I'm just going to wing it. Any keto recipe is going to be very low in carbs, which is why the cabbage here is our main filler, aside from the meat, which is protein. Keto diet also asks for a lot of fat, which is good because our sesame seed oil, and all oils in fact, are pretty high in fats. So this will come together for a pretty good meal for a couple of Monroe boys I know that are doing this diet right now. With the cabbage taken care of, I've minced our garlic and I've cut up our green onions, leaving some of the green bits on the side for a bit of garnish later on. Now, last time I did green onions, I mentioned that you can put these ends in water and they will start growing. And I did that. So you can see there are a couple green tips, but sooner or later these will be as tall as these guys. Alright, so our garlic and our green onions are going to be the first things we put in the stove with a little bit of our sesame seed oil. So let's get over. To get us started, I put a little bit of our sesame seed oil on the pan. I'm getting that heated up. I'm going to dump our garlic and onion mix in here just so that it can get a little bit of color before we add our pound of beef and or pork to the mix. Since this is keto, really just the fact that it's meat is the bigger deal, so it's your choice what you'd like to use for this recipe. Our vegetable base has started to sizzle and brown, so it's time for us to add our meat. Right in there and start spreading it out. We're going to want to cook this until it starts to brown like our vegetables did, and then we'll start adding everything else in. So the amount of time the cabbage and the rest of the mix will be in here will be a fairly limited time, so make sure it's cooked through before you go to that step. Once you've got the beef cooked to where you'd like to see it, turn down the heat slightly and we're going to start adding in our cabbage, ginger, and soy sauce. So again, I'm not sure how much cabbage is supposed to go in there, so I'm going to wing it. Looks like enough to cover all of the beef should be enough. Then on top of that, put in our soy sauce. And again, I'm a big ginger fan, so I'm probably going to go over on it. Being a big ginger fan, I should have something fresher than out of a tube, but here we are. So I left the cabbage on a bit longer than the recipe originally said. I think cooking it through is giving it a little bit better texture, so I think that'll work more. Now comes a little bit of a challenging part. You need to get the mixture together and form a well on the inside. We are going to be taking our whole egg and one-handed throwing the egg in there and scrambling it up so that it cooks as in the mixture. I can't believe I nailed that. I'm pretty happy. All right. So yeah, you want the eggs to get to know the cabbage and the beef in here, and mix in as it would for a stir-fried rice or something. All right, once all of that has mixed together, we are pretty much done. So it's time to plate and dress it up a little bit. I've put our egg roll in a bowl, and I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of the sesame oil on it. Spice it up with some sriracha. And then top it off with a couple more of our green onions. And there we have it. So let's dig in. If you like meat, you're gonna like this. It came out well. It's got a lot of soy and sesame elements from what we put in it, and overall tastes a lot like beef. Due to the soy sauce, sesame oil, and a little bit of salt I snuck in while cooking, this is a very sodium-heavy dish, and there's nothing to really absorb it. I'm glad that I left the cabbage on there as long as I did. It is a good contrast to the beef. It's got good texture, and it does add a bit of filler. So if you're on the keto diet, I would recommend making this. I think it came out well. Again, a little salty on this side. So Jill, thank you for the recommendation. And for everybody else, thanks for watching. For my kitchen, yours, stay safe.